Hi, my name is Ingrid, and from a young girl, my godfather tried to teach me about old-time remedies, trying to take me out into the wildlife that I call the woods, to gather different berries and herbs, where there's mosquitoes and other insects and wildlife. No, I wasn't trying to have any of that. But now that I am wiser and more health conscious, I am ready to learn with my godfather. Old Time Remedies. Hi, I'm Ingrid, and I'm here with my godfather, Earth Elk, to talk with you about these wonderful, creative, handmade flutes from Mark. He created all of this. So Mark, tell me, so how did you and godfather meet?
Interesting story. Also the same guy, Chuck Thoreau, that introduced me to the flute. A couple of weeks after I met Chuck, during that time, I had a bout with Mercer, that hospital infection that people have. I'd had it for years. I lost a finger in a surgery from having Mercer. A few years later, I had started having outbreaks in my body where my elbow would swell up one day. I had my bursa removed, some other parts of my hands, extremities. I was getting infections, and I was going to specialists and to big hospitals all over. They couldn't stop the Mercer. And Chuck, the same guy, introduced me to Ralph because he knew he might be able to help me. And I went and saw Ralph, and I'll never forget it. Ralph sat there in front of me and looked at me for probably 15 minutes. All he wanted to see was my eyes, and he checked out my hands and my feet. He made me up a batch of tea to drink for about 3 months, and when I was done, I went back to the hand specialists all over the place, and it was gone. And they wanted to know what I did. Of course, I didn't tell them. I told them I went to the health food store and got on a regime.
So Mark, tell us, what is Mercer for those that out there in the audience who don't know?
It's an antibiotic-resistant staph infection. It's methicillin. Staph aureus is what the real name is. And you get it two different ways. You get it in a hospital on your skin, and that's the most common type, or in surgeries. And they used to say you couldn't get it this way, but now they realize you can. Like I had, you can get it in your bone marrow. And then it lays dormant wherever it wants to in your body and breaks out. And what Ralph did for me was extract it, strengthen my immune system, and I do an annual detox with him every year now. Keeps my immune system built. I wear one of Ralph's well sacks right here. Keeps airborne illnesses away.
And we're going to do that on Old Time Remedies too, about that well sack.
And I do lots of other things that Ralph helps me out with for sure.
So Mark, could you tell us about these flutes?
Yeah, sure can. I'm Mark Wagenschner. Everybody calls me Wags because nobody can say my last name. Just a quick story about how this started. I went to a powwow. That's probably about a month before I met Ralph, and saw a flute on a table, and Spirit just told me to buy a flute. I'd never played a flute in my life, and I bought a flute from a friend of mine, Chuck, and within about 2 days I had a flute made out of the bamboo from my backyard, and it took my whole life over completely. And I've been doing it. It'll be 6 years this February, and I handcraft everything on this table. I make native style flutes and Mediterranean style flutes, Arabic style flutes, create some of my own drone flutes that are double flutes. I also do feather jewelry, earrings and necklaces, and then some other percussion instruments. I do rattles and the little cricket scraper things. We call these the sonic scrapers. And then I also make my own incenses, and then wands, smudge wands, for fanning the smoke into the air. A lot of the native folks use these things. And I go in spring and fall, I go and set up and vend at fairs and festivals, and then I'm making stuff in the summer and the winter.
So could you tell me what's a Mediterranean flute look like?
Yeah, they're pretty much similar looking.
And what's the difference?
The scale is different. The sound is different. This is the Mediterranean scale.
Okay. So nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All the other ones are Native American scale.
Okay.
The smaller the flute, the higher the pitch.
Okay. Nice. Music to my ears.
And then the real big ones are real deep, mellow, serene, soulful.
So let me understand this. So you never had any background pertaining to crafting?
No, I had never made flutes. I played piano, played keyboards, piano, and harmonica most of my life.
So you had some bamboo and you just decided to handcraft this?
Yeah,
how long did it take you? Did it take you a couple of months? Or?
No, it took a couple of days and I had my first flute done. I took the one I bought apart and looked at it and it didn't seem that hard. And I found out it was a little harder than I thought.
Oh, really?
Had some other flute makers on the phone for the first couple weeks, but it took only a couple days to make the first one.
And to play?
Playing came almost naturally. I went to that guy's booth at a powwow when I bought that flute, and he just showed me the scale, and I started playing right away. I don't know if it was the musical background or I think it was just magic. It was just meant to be. And,
obviously, you definitely have gifted hands.
Thank you.
And your jewelry here. So, how long did it take you to create this? Is this something that you had already done before?
Actually, I tied flies. These are fishing flies. Fly fishing lures.
Oh, so
and my wife was sitting next to me one night and I had two the same. And she said, can you possibly cut those hooks off and let me put them on earring wires? And that's how that started.
Oh, that's how earrings. Oh, okay, because I'm like, yeah, these look like earrings.
Yep, and I don't buy any feathers. All the feathers are gifted. There's parrot feathers and peacock and guinea hens and.
And I see you have, is this a CD?
Yeah, that's my last CD. It's called Remember Me. That's a song I wrote for my father who passed about almost 5 years ago. And this is another CD that I'm on with 3 other guys from this area of Florida.
Okay.
That is all, the Remember Me is all my own compositions.
Okay.
There's piano and flute, guitar and flute, and then some just flute songs, yeah.
Alrighty. And this piece right here? You said something about this?
That's called a smudge fan.
Okay.
It's a fan, you've probably seen on native shows where the chief is sitting in a circle and he's got a big fire of sage or something, burning cedar, whatever.
Okay.
And they use that wand to fan the smoke in there. A lot of people use them for rituals.
I need it right now.
Yeah, you need it right now with this Florida heat.
Yeah, this is right here that I'm so not accustomed to out here in the wild, in nature. Okay. Godfather and I would like to thank our guest, Mark, the bamboo guy, for joining us here at Old Time Remedies. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, and thanks for having me here, and thanks, Ralph, for saving my life and being such a good friend.
Thank you very much, Ma. Anytime.